Hello, 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 and welcome to Up Dog Sports Talk. My name is Matt Miller. We have Justin McGovern, and we'll get to our special guest in just a minute. But here at Up Dog Sports Talk, we deliver honest, fan-focused coverage that spotlights the teams, athletes, and communities often overlooked by mainstream sports media. Because your team is a story worth telling. So moving on past all that, everybody knows who we are, or I guess like the 4 people that watch this knows who we are. But that's not the point of this show. Today we have a very special guest, the head coach of
Southern Utah University.
Had to get that one right. Screwed up last time we tried this. DeLane Fitzgerald. What's going on, Coach?
Hey guys, thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So you have a very exciting team this year. So we were doing our previews and everything, but before we get into like this year's team, you've spent close to 20 or so years. You have 111 or so wins. Looking back, what made you get into coaching?
Guys, I always loved football from the time I started playing in Amherst, Virginia for the Amherst Wolverines, all the way up until I played my last football game at James Madison University, which we lost to Troy in the FCS playoffs. From the time I started till the time I finished, it was just something that I really enjoyed. And it's been a passion of mine since day one. When your career comes to an end, when you're done playing, you look around kind of like, hey, what's next? What's next? I initially thought that the weight room strength conditioning was going to be my career. I got into that, and you're doing strength conditioning. You're not leaving an unair conditioned weight room for about 16 to 18 hours a day. And I thought to myself, how about this coaching thing? Coaching might be fun. Let's try this. I got into coaching and was fortunate enough to have a couple of people believe in me as a young coach. And it just kind of took. It's been my life's work. It's going to be my life's work. It's been a lot of fun, very gratifying. I'll say this for you guys. You get into coaching for one reason. You love the sport and you want to compete. And those two things probably drive it early on. And then as you get later on in your coaching career and you get a little older, you start to see the changes that you've been able to make in young men and changes in a community and changes in universities. You start to see that and you really appreciate the work that you've done. And it's what makes you stick around. The young men and the opportunity to help young men become better citizens, become better employers and employees, become just better people. It makes you hang around.
That is awesome. Yeah, your story is definitely a really cool one. And you spent 8 successful years at Frostburg State. That's in Maryland. You built a powerhouse there. Most of your background, like you mentioned, you played in Virginia at Amherst and James Madison. All of your background was on the East Coast. And then Southern Utah, all the way out in Cedar City, Utah, comes calling. What drew your attention to coaching there?
Yeah, you'll make all the people back home mad. From Nelson County to James Madison. Let's do this one. I'm a journeyman assistant coach, and I had 5 or 6 assistant coaching jobs up and down the East Coast. I was very fortunate to get that Southern Virginia University job. You get your first head coaching job if you're lucky, and that's just the way it is. There's been thousands of really good college coaches go their entire career and never get an opportunity to be a head coach. So I was fortunate enough they gave me the head coaching job there. Southern Virginia is an LDS-based school. So it's a school that's based on the Mormon Church. And although I'm not a member of the Mormon Church, they needed a head coach. I wanted to be a head coach. They believed in me. I got the job. Guys, I took that job in February of 2009, and there were 706 colleges in the country that year, college football programs in the country. We were somewhere in the 700. We didn't have players, and we didn't have facilities, and we didn't have a good head coach, and we didn't have assistant coaches, and we built that thing from the ground up, and we went from somewhere in the 700 to conference champions 5 years later. So off of that build, and the 8 seasons that I spent there total, we were offered the Frostburg State job and an opportunity to turn that around. You talk about 2 different circumstances. Southern Virginia was a have-not, and we didn't have anything. Didn't have equipment, didn't have facilities. Everything was kind of lagging behind the times. I went and interviewed for that Frostburg job and looked around, and it was the State PE School of Maryland, and I couldn't figure out why they hadn't been good for the last 100 years. I looked around, and I'm like, so why aren't they playing Alabama now? You've got 12 different PE majors, and you've got this going for you and that going for you. It's strategically located in the geographical center of DC, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. So you're surrounded by really good football players. We took that job and we went 4-6 the first year, 6-4 the second year, and then got hot as a firecracker. We got about as hot as you could possibly get. Our last 6 seasons there, we won 60 some games. So we were averaging 10 wins a season there over 6 seasons, and it's just a really special deal. After 8 seasons here, this job opened up, and I thought to myself, if I can win at an LDS Mormon-based school in Virginia, I can probably win at an LDS school in Utah, although this is a state university. It's a state university, and the separation of church and state, you're just not separating very far from the church while you're in the state of Utah. But I knew what it took. I knew what it took with the LDS kids, and I knew what it took with an LDS culture, and just thought we could make a difference here. I thought we could come out here and do some damage over a couple of years.
That's awesome, and I'm sure the backdrop behind the stadium doesn't hurt the recruiting pitch that Southern Utah gave you.
No, it doesn't. This is it's a beautiful backdrop in our stadium, and it's not the best one around here. We're 45 minutes from Zion National Park and about an hour from Bryce Canyon National Park. There's a lot of pretty overlooks, a lot of pretty scenery around here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joseph Smith knew what he was doing when he took the wagons out west. So
I was not expecting that one tonight.
Let's get history straight. Joseph Smith started in northern New York, and he ended his life and his journey ended in Missouri and Illinois, kind of on the Missouri-Illinois border. Brigham Young brought the LDS Church to Utah.
There it is.
Didn't know we would be going too deep into history.
Nice little history lesson there.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
I've been to Zion before and really driven from Zion to Cedar City. So I've seen that whole area, and it is an area that's definitely had a huge impact in my life. It is a beautiful place.
It is unlike anything else in this country. And I tell people back home, if Zion's not the prettiest place in the United States, I haven't seen the prettiest place yet.
Well, back to Southern Utah for a second. What do you believe makes Southern Utah so special? I mean, obviously the mountains, the national parks and whatnot, but just from the university standpoint, what do you think that makes it so special?
This is a pretty place and a great town. And what separates this town from every other town that has 50,000, because we're about at 50,000 people now, what separates us from everybody else is probably the people in this town, the level of caring, and the people in this town, they don't care about me as a football coach only. It's as a football coach and a person, and it's the same thing with our assistant coaches, same thing with our players. We're treated really, really well here by the people that are in this town. So if you're asking me for a one-word answer, the residents of this town. That's one sentence, but the residents.
Hey, they're kind of why you do it, right?
Yeah,
the young men that go through the program.
When we're having tough times now, they'll keep you caring about everything because they're just so good-hearted.
Yeah, that's really cool. You gotta love when the community gets behind you, and that's really what makes college football so special, especially at the FCS level.
Absolutely.
So we'll go to a little bit more on the field now. Now, last year kind of didn't go as planned for you. Kind of got to that rough 1-5 start, a lot of one-score losses, but then all of a sudden, it's like if you guys just flipped the switch and turned it around. You finished the season on a 6-game winning streak. So what went wrong early in the year, and then where did that switch flip to where you guys started winning to finish out the season?
Yeah, we are a tale of two seasons. We start the season off and we beat a very good Idaho State team at home handily. After a week after they should have beaten UNLV. In Allegiant Stadium, the Dome down in Vegas, but we beat them handily. And guys, we got big-headed. We got big-headed, and the buck stops at the head coach's desk. We followed that up with a trip down to the University of San Diego, and our players just didn't believe us all week. And we told our players they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They've got a chance to be pretty good in our conference. We go down there and just play as bad as you can possibly play. No passion, no emotion, no effort, no grit, no stick-to-itiveness, nothing. We send that game to overtime and lose, as we should. We deserve to lose. And then we come off of that, and like you said, we lost 3 or 4 games. Well, 2 or 3 of the 4 were extremely close. We're losing one-score games. We're winning in the fourth quarter against several schools and lose those games. Just not doing enough. Not doing enough preparation by the coaches, not doing enough in practice, just not doing enough. And we didn't finish anything. If you're looking for a one word answer, lack of finish. Finish, not finishing. We didn't finish anything. We come up on our bye week. We had a bye week and kind of dug in as a coaching staff and said, which way are we going to go with this? We're just going to take our lumps and finish this thing 3-9, or are we going to do more? Every week that it was negative, we worked a little harder. Our coaches watched more film. Our coaches did more preparation. Our players worked harder in the weight room. Our players worked harder at conditioning, and then we practiced more. And I know that the going thing to do across the country is as the season goes on, you do a little less and a little less and a little less. We didn't do that. We actually turned the heat up and did more every single day. We come off of that bye week and we beat our conference champions, two-time conference champions, Abilene Christian. We beat them pretty handily at home. And then we went every other week, home away for 6 straight weeks and just won them all, taking it one day at a time and 1 week at a time. And for all intents and purposes, we played well for 5 straight weeks. Now, we didn't finish very well at North Alabama, and we did enough at the end of the game to win the football game. But up until that game, we played pretty well for 5 straight weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also beat Austin P as well. That was a really good team. So, I mean, you guys finished strong and kind of feeling that momentum here, heading into this year. That kind of leads into Matt. You can take the next question here.
Yeah, I mean, Justin almost asked it for me, but like looking ahead, what are you most excited for the upcoming season? Like, is it building off of what you did at the end of last season? You have a little bit new personnel in there. Like, what are you most excited for?
Yeah, guys, we're completely new. I'm excited for the unknown, and I'll come back to our roster and all that and our team, but I'm excited for the unknown. I've been asked a question over 100 times, are you excited about going to the Big Sky? The answer is I don't know. I've never been in the Big Sky as a player or coach. We played some Big Sky schools and 3 or 4 of them out of conference over the last 4 years here, so I know what it's like at Cal Davis, and I know what it's like at Idaho State, and I know what it's like at 1 or 2 others, but I've never been in the Big Sky as a player or a coach. So I'm excited to do something new. We're going into the best conference in the country. The Big Sky is the best FCS conference in the country, and that has to be something you get excited about. As far as our team, I feel like a lot of coaches feel right now there's a ton of unknowns with the portal and with the NIL and, the good and the bad that it brings. We're really going to have a new look to us. We like our quarterback, but he hadn't proven anything at this level yet. And we like our tailback, but he's got a lot to prove, and he wasn't with us last year. And when I say quarterback, I can go our top 3 quarterbacks, same thing. Our top 3 tailbacks, same thing. We returned 3 really good offensive linemen, and we returned 3 really good tight ends. But outside of them, everything on our offense is a little bit of an unknown. And even those 3 offensive linemen still got to prove themselves. So do the 3 tight ends. We don't have a kid. We have 1 wide receiver that's played well 2 or 3 games, and another wide receiver that's played well in 1 game. Not only do we not have anybody that's put a season together, we don't have anybody that's put a month together at the college level. We flip over on defense, and we've got a few more returners, but we've got some D tackles that need to play better than they did last year. We don't return a defensive end on the team, so they're young and unproven. Our linebacking core is pretty stout, and should be pretty good, and we should go about 6 deep at the linebackers. I should say 6 players. Not 6 levels, but 6 players deep at that linebacker core. And then with the exception of I'll make sure I'm telling the truth here, with the exception of 1 defensive back, we're completely new look at the defensive back. Guys, we return our kicker, but we lose a long snapper and our holder. All of that being said, if you're asking about my optimism, I'll start backwards and work back to the front. We don't have many returning defensive backs. We're really excited about the guys we've got in there right now and what they can do. We know about the linebacker spot. We're really excited about our defensive ends and what they can do. You flip over. I wouldn't trade our quarterback. I wouldn't trade our quarterback for any quarterback in our conference. But he's done nothing at our level so far, so a lot to prove. And I really like our offensive line, really like our running backs, And then our big question mark is our wide receiver room, and just to see how they do. And we've got 2 or 3 kids that have been with us for several years and just haven't done anything. Well, it's now or never for them. So we'll see if they step up and actually make some plays this fall.
Well, if you need some depth, we're 2 guys in our mid-30s that have 4 years of eligibility. So
Y'all ready? What positions? Y'all are ready to go?
I played all of defense in high school and played a little bit of offense in junior high, but I'll warm the hands back up if you need me.
Okay. How about
I could play receiver, but all I could do is catch the ball. I don't know about getting open or anything like that. I might tear an Achilles trying to cut a route.
Okay. For the last 10 years, I've told the players, I said, y'all don't understand. I'm tougher than y'all. I said, and the adrenaline will last me a quarter. I said, I've got 15 minutes in me. And then one of the other coaches said it a little better than me. He said, I've got a quarter in me too. He said, just not all at the same time.
I love it. I love it. Hey, we know you have a lot of energy, being a former fullback
In
in
the
the
heyday of
90s.
fullback.
Yeah,
Hey, there aren't any more of us left around.
exactly. You guys are a rare breed these days.
It is.
So really, that kind of gets to our next question here. When someone turns on Southern Utah tape, or for someone that maybe hasn't watched Southern Utah before on TV, what is the non-negotiable identity they're going to see from your guys, regardless of the situation?
Yeah, guys, we're going to be tough, and we're going to be blue collar. And we preach accountability, punctuality, and accountability within our football programs. Our kids are where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. We work extremely hard. And then we test our kids mentally and physically. We test them not only on a weekly basis, but sometimes we test them on a daily basis. Just want to see what they're made of, want to see how they're going to handle adversity. So going back and answering your question, we're going to be tough and we're going to be blue collar. We're going to be assignment sound. And then at the end of it, we're going to be pretty gritty now. We're going to be pretty salty, and we're going to finish things.
Just a bunch of lunch pail guys.
I would, if I could find 100 of them, we'd just have 100 of them. But I tell you, one of the things, talking about things you say to players, I tell you, we're only looking for 50 tough guys. We just need 50 tough ones.
Absolutely. Hey, that's a former fullback identity in there.
Love to see it. Love to see it. You kind of touched on this before, and so many consider the Big Sky to be like the SEC of the FCS, right? Are you really excited to be in there? Maybe a little bit nervous? Are you preparing any differently? Not trying to look at hey, here's all your schemes and stuff, but are you preparing differently for Big Sky?
Yeah, you're 18 as a head coach and 31 total in college football. I don't get nervous anymore, guys. I might get excited for it, but I'm not going to get nervous for anything. You talked about, I think with North Dakota State leaving the Missouri Valley, I think that makes the Big Sky the best FCS conference in football. I don't think it's real close. And I don't know, I should have looked this up. If the Missouri Valley has 9 teams and you take the top 9 teams out of the Big Sky, I think the Big Sky is probably the best conference. Returning national champions in our conference. And there's some interesting, a lot of people think Montana's the best team they think Montana State's the best team in the country, and Montana's the second best team in the country. Well, that's the top 2 teams in our conference. And then you got a bunch of them behind them, under them in the standings that aren't any slouch. As far, I think, and I should have said this earlier, I think we're the second or third youngest team in the Big Sky this fall. So we're building towards something and working towards something. Am I nervous? No, not at all. I think that we've got some work to do up front on the offense and defensive line to be successful week in and week out in the Big Sky. And then our quarterback has to play well.
So when it comes to all these young players, not many of them have really all played together before. So how do you get these players to just buy in from day one?
It's a daily process. It's a daily process. And with us, I'm sitting here talking to you right now. And I think with the designated players, we got like 113 on the roster right now. So we've got that's about exactly right. We've got our 105 players. And then we've got the kids that have been designated, which is another 8 of them. You're not going to get them all to buy in. But out of that 113, if you can get 75 to 85 to get on board, to get completely on board, you've got a chance to be successful. I use Urban Meyer's, 10, 80, 10 rule a whole lot. and it's, you 10% of your team is elite. And then you've got 80% that are kind of sort of bought in and believe in what you're saying and working hard. And then you've got the 10% that you just can't save. I would say our roster is the same way.
Very nice. So, kind of we're going to that season opener in Montana now. Obviously, you haven't been in the Big Sky before, but this is definitely a new and unique challenge that you probably haven't dealt with a whole lot. Washington Grizzly Stadium is known as the Mecca of FCS football, and it's as loud as a Power 4 stadium in there. Are you doing anything special to prepare for that? And, what else are you kind of looking forward to with that matchup in week 0?
Have you been there?
I've been there before. It's amazing.
I'll take any advice you got. So we get off here. Y'all text me, call me. Any advice you've got for the town. Guys, I've never been to the state of Montana, so obviously I've never been to Grizzly Stadium. But for me personally, as a player, I played Virginia Tech the year they lost the national title game. I played at Maryland when they were really good. As a coach, been in some wild places. And we played at Utah twice here, and I got a lot of respect for Montana and everything they built. But I got to believe that the Utah Utes and Eccles Stadium up there is pretty loud. We've been at Utah for a home opener, so that one's loud. At BYU, I should say, for a home opener, so that one's pretty loud. Hey, we played at Utah in front of 52,000 angry fans, so done that one. I'm not saying that it's different. I'm not saying that it's different, but loud is loud.
Absolutely. And hey, won that UTEP game as well.
We did. We went to UTEP, won the game, and collected a check for $300,000. It was a pretty good night.
Yeah, can't complain about that one.
No, that's a good trip.
Is there anything else? Any other matchups you're really looking forward to this year?
Whatever the week is, I'm looking forward to that one. Week 1 is Montana. Week 2, be looking forward to playing Weber State here at home. It's a fierce rivalry here in the state of Utah. Southern Utah versus Weber. You got the north versus the south ends of the state, both public schools, state schools. They've been playing for a long time, so that one's pretty heated. I haven't been a part of that, guys, because we were playing in a different conference from them the last 4 years. We haven't played, so I'm excited about that one. And then whoever we play game 3, I'm going to be excited about that. I think Colorado State. And then whoever we play game 4, I'm going to be excited about that one too. I think it's Idaho State, but I'm not sure.
It's an exciting year for you guys.
Yeah. And I think that also brings to another good point of there's a lot more regionality now with your schedule. Like you guys used to go all over the place. You would travel to, Kentucky, Tennessee, all of that. Now, everyone's on your part of the country.
Yeah, that they are. We're not saving any money because you can get a $100 hotel room in the Southeast, and now we're paying $200 for hotel rooms. And at those buffets we were eating for $15 and now $30. So the money we're saving on flights, we're going to spend on hotels and food. But you're right, the trips are a little shorter. That is when people question our kids and question our coaching staff. That's where I get real fired up. Do you know how hard it is to get on a plane flight here on a Friday evening and go to Atlanta, Georgia, and get off the next day and win a game at 87 degrees and 75% humidity? It's really hard. And over the last couple of years, we went to Atlanta and won a game. We went to Lexington, Kentucky and won a game. We're flying into Muscle Shoals, Alabama and winning games. We flew into Nashville and went north of there and won a game. Stuff that's tough to do against really good coaching staffs, all the while. If you want to have some fun, fly from Utah to Little Rock, Arkansas, and then go a little north of there and win a game. But if we can do that, we're going to be okay in this conference. Guys, we've got to take things day by day. I'm well aware that we're missing some of the horses that we've had the last couple of years on offense and defense, but we're going to take a team approach and a community approach, and we'll be salty now. We'll be really gritty every Saturday. We'll be really, really gritty, really salty in the fourth quarter, and we're going to finish what we start.
Man, I'm ready to run through a brick wall for you.
Guys, I'm a big fan of y'all. Thank y'all for having me on here.
Yeah, Coach, thank you so much. Everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
DeLane Fitzgerald.
Guys, thank y'all.